The weirdest beauty standards in the world. Have you ever heard the saying that beauty is not universal? As another saying goes, one man's food is another man's poison. Some people might call themselves ugly, but have they ever considered the possibility that they were born on the wrong side of the globe? As it turns out, beauty is not based on the makeup you wear or even your cup size, but the standards of attractiveness in your country of origin are more important. While this is true, some regions have really weird beauty practices. Here are a few of the strangest beauty standards in the world. Number 1. Iranian Nose Job. Iran is famous for a lot of things. From war drama to never-ending news about oil prices, something always seems to be going on in the Middle East. One little fact that you might not expect is that Iran is well known for being the nose job capital of the world. In the capital city of Tehran, the streets are full of young women who have gone under the knife. There's a bunch of reasons for this trend, so it's hard to say why they do it for sure. Whatever the reason, nose jobs are more popular than Netflix over there. Not that Netflix is particularly popular over here. It's not an uncommon sight to see young men and women flaunting bandages on their noses. This trend has now become a symbol of high status in their culture. These youngsters want to give their peers the impression that they can afford such an expensive procedure. Apart from that, Iranians see it as a brave thing to do. Anyone who has done a nose job is basically seen as a hero in the country. While the gals in your nation might be attracted to big old muscles and sharp jawlines, they would be telling a different story if you found yourself in the middle of Iran all of a sudden. Nose jobs are so attractive that there are some women who put bandages on their noses even though they haven't had any plastic surgery at all. With such strict dressing guidelines for the women there, they have to find a way to flaunt their stuff. These gals are just making sure the noses that they're allowed to show are shaped to perfection. Can you really blame them for it? Number 2. Kion neck ring. Let's do a little visualization exercise for a second here. I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're in a calm village, deep in the mountains of Thailand. You look to your left, and suddenly you see a woman with the longest neck you have ever seen. What's more, her neck is completely covered with brass rings, and you're a bit shocked. Are you being attacked by a human-giraffe hybrid mutant? You're tempted to run away, but you stop to think. What if her neck got longer because she was just happy to see you? Or maybe you're dreaming things, or maybe you took some acid. You look to your right. You see another long-necked woman with the same set of brass rings. If you're confused, there's no need to be. You've landed among the Kion long-neck tribe of Thailand. This is a group of people who live in the mountains of Myanmar. The women of this tribe are known for sporting heavy brass rings around their necks for most of their lives, which makes it look like they have elongated necks. While it's not clear how this tradition started, there are several theories. Some anthropologists suggest that these rings are worn to protect the women from tiger attacks. Others seem to think that women don't want men from rival tribes to take them away, so they wear these rings to make themselves look unappealing. While these theories are entertaining, the most likely reason for wearing these rings is because those brass rings are a symbol of pride and beauty for the Kion people. The sign of a truly desirable woman in Kion is not a ring on the finger or makeup on the face, but the number of rings she has on her face. The rings these females wear from a young age help to push their shoulders down, making it look like they got long necks. As they get older, some of them might have as much as 25 rings on their neck. If anything, these women don't ever have to worry about getting strangled by a random robber on the street. The next practice on our list doesn't seem to have an obvious use, which is what makes it even weirder. Number 3. Chinese foot binding. In China, foot binding was a hugely important practice that lasted over 1,000 years. To this day, it's widely considered to be one of the most dangerous fashion trends in history. Lasting from the 10th century to the 20th century, foot binding was an important part of Chinese culture. It was such a gruesome practice that the Chinese government was forced to ban the practice in the 1940s. At first, it might sound crazy. How on earth is it possible to make feet smaller? Well, here's how they did it. The practice of foot binding involves breaking the woman's toes before bending it back against the sole of the foot and binding it in place with tight fabric. There was nothing more delicious to a man in ancient China than a pair of well-broken feet. Ew. Not only did binding make the feet of Chinese women delicate and small, it was also a symbol of social standing in China. Women who went through this procedure were supposed to somehow make better wives? I'm sure some feminists out there are about to puke. Thank the heavens that foot binding is outdated. Number 4. Dinka tribe scarification. Is that you, Killmonger, from the Black Panther movie? No? Oh, it's just a hunter from the Dinka tribe with patterns of scars on his body. The Dinka tribe is a Sudanese ethnic group that can be found all over East Africa. While they may look nice and friendly to outsiders, their beauty standards would make you feel so dizzy you might start seeing stars. When Dinka boys are about to enter into manhood, they're forced to undergo a very painful scarification process. Well, your initiation into manhood might have involved joining a sports team or trying to pick up girls at the mall. These guys had it a bit tougher. In the process, a local priest uses a sharp knife to carve 3 scars under their skins. The practice of scarification to create patterns is quite popular in Africa. While the males are usually given 3 parallel lines in their forehead, the Dinka tribe marks the girls with more attractive patterns. This procedure is, as one might imagine, incredibly painful. Despite this, the Dinka youngsters are forbidden from crying during the process. They're not even allowed to flinch, or else they would bring shame to their entire family. Surely there has to be some other way to prove that you're an adult, a big boy. What happened to paying bills and living on your own? You should also thank your lucky stars that you weren't born into the Dinka tribe. While we do respect their culture, we equally respect our right to run as far away from it as possible. Number 5. Indonesian teeth sharpening. In Indonesia, it's not uncommon to see vampires. What? Did you just say vampires aren't real? Well, I'm gonna guess Santa Claus is some kind of made-up thing too. Well, anyways, you might be right, but the teeth chiseling custom in Indonesia might tell you otherwise. In some Indonesian tribes, women go through a painful procedure called teeth chiseling. Mind you, this is not a one-time procedure where you go to the dentist and you come out with fresh, pearly whites. No, this takes decades. When all is said and done, the women are left with smaller, more pointed teeth, which is a sign of higher social status in their culture. These women believe that if they sharpen their teeth, their husband will not leave them for somebody else, because they can clamp onto them and not let them go. If sharpening your teeth automatically makes you more beautiful, then we might be living in a world full of Draculas. Now that I think more about it, what if the neck rings that women wear in Thailand are actually meant to protect them from Indonesian teeth sharpeners? You can never know for sure. Number 6. Apatani nose plugs. Nose rings might have become mainstream fashion trends these days, but the Apatani tribe of India are the OG nose piercers. In fact, they took the fashion trend to a whole new level with their nose plugs. The Apatani tribe is a major ethnic group in a region known as the Arunachal Pradesh in northeastern India. Apatani women are what you might call #built different. They're famous for installing bizarre nose plugs and face tattoos in order to flaunt their beauty. While they look stunning in their nose plugs, it's a bit scary to somebody who's never seen or heard of that strange tradition before. Those nose plugs are called yaping hulo, and they're sourced from wood found in the forest. These days, only the older Apatani women wear the yaping hulo plugs, which is because the government banned them in the early 1970s. So why did the women start wearing those plugs in the first place? One reason is that they feared that it might upset the balance of the population, because all men in the country were getting obsessed with Apatani women. For real. That's actually what happened. Apatani women were once considered the most attractive in all of India. This breathtaking beauty of theirs was also a curse to them at some point, because men from neighboring tribes kept on raiding Apatani villages just to steal a bride for themselves. The tribe elders needed to find a way to keep those strange men away, and this gave birth to the bizarre nose plugs that women wore. At the end of the day, the tactic proved successful. The men learned their lesson, and they learned it well. After breaking into a village to steal a bride from her father's house, the last thing you wanted to see when you got home is a gigantic nose plug. I wonder what other life problems could be solved just by looking so scary that your enemies are forced to run away. This world really is a big place. Who can know what other strange beauty customs are hidden from the public eye? Do you know of any? You can share your stories in the comment section so that we can all enjoy them. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video with your friends. You never know which of your friends might actually be secretly hungry for some Indonesian women with razor-sharp teeth. See you next time, guys.